in object-oriented programming. So these are the basic concept of object-oriented programming, how it can handle, right? So in OOP, we need to understand about the classes and about the objects, and about how we can manage and work with the functions and inheritance and polymorphism. These are only the basic things. So we have to understand how we can work with them. These are the basic options you need to understand to work with object-oriented programming. Now, one more important concept is there. Another important concept, so for handling object-oriented programming, you have to know about modules. So, but these modules and the module system, we will discuss at the end, because for that we need to finish all the concept of JavaScript. Then at the end, we see this module system. Because JavaScript module system is very important in further learning of Angular or React or Vue like technologies. These module systems are very important. Knockout, Backbone, all JavaScript based advanced concepts. To understand them, you need to understand this module system. Later, we will discuss detailedly about the module systems. But initially, we have to configure. So the modules, we need to understand these things. Then we can learn about module system. Later at the end, I will show you. Right. So next, now after understanding all this concept, now we have to know about in JavaScript browser objects. That is another very important concept, browser objects, and we need to know about the browser events. Detailedly. Already we discussed about the browser objects. Few important browser objects I already showed you. Browser events are important. Browser events also little bit here and there, some events we use. But we need to detailedly understand about the JavaScript browser events now. A list I will give you how to handle them. Actually, first technical point is, so what is an event? How the event works? Because already you used on click, like on change, some events I told you. According to situation and requirement, we used them. But really, how they work, how to handle them, we need to understand. So many are there. We already discussed so many. Now, some more detail we need to understand that. We just used them. Actually, event, if anyone asks what is an event, technically, event is a message sent by sender to its subscriber in order to notify the change. So event is a message sent by sender to its subscriber in order to notify the change. I will explain that. What does that mean? I will explain. Actually, event follows a software design pattern called observer. We call observer. It follows a software design pattern called observer. So what is that observer and how this works? Let's see one concept. Actually, Suppose we are having a function. We are having a function. Insert click. Insert click. Now here we are writing button. On click is equal to insert click. Now majority of the people, so insert is the button. Majority of the people, when they generally know about events, when they generally learn about events, they think that we are writing a function and we are calling that function. On click, we are calling the function. Am I right? What do you say? So we are writing a function called insert click and we are calling the function. Am I right? We are calling that function. When we are calling it, so on click we are calling, yeah. But actually it's not like that. It's not like that. Actually, we are not calling the function. We are pointing towards the function. So we are pointing towards that function. Not calling the function, pointing towards the function. Actual, this is event. We call it as event. And this complete, so that is event. And this complete, so this complete, on click, insert click. We call that complete. This complete is known as, event handler. Event handler. We call it as event handler. And actually this event handler is a function pointer. It is a function pointer. It is a function pointer. So we are not calling the function. We are pointing towards the function. It is a function pointer. I will show you that clearly. That means generally people always think that we are writing a function and calling the function. That's wrong. I will show you that. For example, see now here, I will create a simple doc type HTML head, title some events. We have a script. And in the body, I defined a button, insert. So insert. So here I defined on click, insert click. Now, is there any function written by name insert click? Is there any function written by name insert click? No, there is no function written. Observe carefully. Then if you are calling a function which is not available, then it should show some reference error saying that insert not defined. Am I right? If you are calling a function which is not there, then it should show some reference error. Then I will run this and go to the console, inspect. In the console, you see there is no error. So if you are calling a function, it should show some error. It is not showing an error, but observe carefully. When I click insert, what will happen? When I click insert, it will try to point towards a function by that name. And there is no function by that name. That means it is pointing towards the function and it is not available. Then see what happens. When I click, now it will show that message saying that insert click is not defined. If you are calling a function and there is no insert click, at the time of loading itself, it should show that message. Understood the point? So event is not calling the function. Event is pointing towards the function. It is a function pointer. Event handler, observe that. On load, it is not showing the error. On button click, it is showing that error. That is why we call as function pointer. And here, remember, this is called observer. This is called observer. Observer is nothing but, why this is called observer? Because actually this action to be performed, we call this as subscriber. Subscriber contains actions to perform. So what actions to perform, that is defined by subscriber. So this insert click is a subscriber, and on click, insert click, event handler, actually event handler is a sender. What this sender will do is, it will send notification to subscriber. That means when user clicks on click, it will send notification to the subscriber. Now subscriber confirms that button clicked. Then subscriber will do the functionality given to it. It will perform the functionality. So event is a message sent by sender to the subscriber in order to notify the change. Then subscriber will do the functionality and return that functionality. So that is the concept of event. It is a message sent by sender to its subscriber in order to notify the change. It follows a design pattern called observer. And event handler uses delegate mechanism. Delegate means function pointer. It uses delegate mechanism. That means it uses the function pointer mechanism. Delegate mechanism is the function pointer mechanism. So that means it points towards the function. Delegate means, so function pointer. The function pointer is called as delegate. It uses the delegate mechanism. This is usually how it handles the concept. So technically, so event is pointing towards the function and performing the function. Now, every event have an event handler. This is called event handler. That means on click, what functionality it should perform, that is event handler. Every event handler will have two event arguments. That means the event handler will have two arguments. This event handler will have two arguments. One argument is this. Another argument is event. Two arguments. Event handler can have two arguments. One is this and event. So this is an argument. This sends information about current element. Current element means button. And event sends information about current event. Current event means on click. So that means every event can comprise of two parameters, this and event. For example, see, button have a name, btn insert. Button have a value, insert. Button have an ID, btn insert, like that. Or say ins button, that is the ID. Button can have a class, Button can have a class, BTN and BTN primary, something like this. Of course, we don't have that bootstrap here, but it may have a class. It is having class. Now, all these details of button, we can send to the event. We can send to the event. So by using this. So this is used to send information about the button. Now you can see that I can access that here, function. So function, insert click. On insert click, we are expecting one parameter. It's mandatory to collect it. So, and we have to define that parameter. This is formal parameter, some OBJ. OBJ is an object that can collect all the details of the button. Who is sending that information? This is a keyword. So this is sending information about the button here. We are collecting it and we will see. I want to print the details. See document.write. Document.write. So I will say button name. So how we can access the button name? obj.name, it can access its name. In the next line, so value, how you can access the value? obj.value. Suppose in the next line, ID, how you can access the ID? So obj.id. And in the next line, class name, class, how you can access the class? So here obj dot class name. Already I told you that as a property, class is not available. As a property, class is not available. Class is available as attribute. But as a property, class attribute is accessible by class name. Now we are accessing all the details and printing. Now you see this is going to send information about your object. And you observe here, when I click on insert button, it gets the information about that insert button. So button name is BTN insert, button value is insert, button ID is INS button, button class is BTN primary. It can handle that. So it is going to access and it is going to manage. So this is basically how we can handle and configure. So, and how we can handle and configure the buttons. Means any element. One event argument is this. You have another event argument. Remember, these are reserved keywords. There is another event argument. You can pass event. It is mandatory that it should have that event word only. So these are reserved words, this and event. Now what event can do? It can send information about click. What may be the information about click? Click have a lot of details. Every event will have a lot of details. Button is having so many details. Similarly, event also have some details. Like generally you are using on click. On click means they have so many options. That means on click indicates some properties like whether you clicked with control key, whether you clicked with alt key, whether you clicked with shift key, or where you clicked it x-axis position, client X, where you clicked its y-axis position, client Y. The position, this is very important. All such details we can access on click. If you want to know all the properties of click event, if you want to know all the properties of click event, you can collect this object and print it. For example, I will show you. First object is obj. Second one is E. Through E, I can access event-related options. For example, I will show you here. In the next line, I will say X position. X position. How we can get X position? E dot client X. That means now you can see when I click on insert button at any location, it says position 53. I will click at the beginning of insert button, it says position 10. I click in the middle of insert button, it says X position is 32. We can know where it is clicked also. Where it is clicked also we can identify that. This is very important to handle various situations actually. That is important to handle different situations. Like for example, so see how this is used. If you want to know all, suppose I will send only event. Okay, I want to know all the event related attributes, properties. I will put only this reference E. The event related all properties I want to print. Then we know for where property in E. And print that property, document.write property plus BR line break. And you can see that it is going to print insert click. It is going to print all the properties. You see so many properties are there for that event. We have properties like is trusted, X, screen Y, client X, client Y, control key, shift key, alt key, meta key, buttons. So many properties are there for the event. Depending on the situation and the requirement, we use these options. Now, why it is important? Because so based on that, we need to perform several activities. Why these event arguments will be very important for us. Observe, I will show you why they are important for us. For example, now here, I am creating 3 buttons. We have a button insert, and we have a button update, and we have a button delete. Now, as per general, we have learnt up to now, I want these 3 buttons to do 3 different works. Then how many functions we have to write? Generally, 3 functions we have to write. Insert 1 function, update 1 function, delete 1 function. But see now what I am doing. I am writing a function. and the database is the function name. This database is a function. Now all these buttons on click can access the database. That means all are pointing towards the same function. All are pointing towards the same function. Then all will do the same work. If all are pointing towards the same function, then all are going to do the same work. So, but it's not like that. Actually, what we can do is, for every button, we will have a name. This is insert. For this button, we have a name. This is update. For this button, we have a name, delete. Now, all the 3 buttons having 3 different names, then we will send that name to that database function. By using this, we can send. So this is an event argument. This is an event argument. By using this event argument, we can send. Now observe carefully here. So we have to collect it, obj. Now we will obj have a property name. Through that we can access this name. When insert is clicked, then the name will be insert. Update clicked, name will be update. So we will write a switch here now. Into the switch, we will pass obj name, object name. And we will write a case. If it is insert, then what to do? Document.write, record inserted. You can write that functionality and break. If the case is update, then what to do? Document.write record updated and break. And if it is case delete, then here document.write record deleted. This message should come. We can do a lot of functions. Of all the 3 buttons, we are not writing 3 functions. Only one function is capable of handling all of them. How one function is capable of handling all of them? How one is capable of doing all of them? So that is by using this technique. So now observe carefully. Now you don't need to write 3 functions. All 3 buttons will point towards the same function. But how the function knows which button clicked? By accessing the event object related name. And who sends that object name? That is sent by using this. And you see now, when I click delete, it says record deleted. When I click update, it says record updated. And when I click insert, it says record inserted. That means now 3 buttons are doing 3 different functionalities with only one function to have. So this is possible with the help of this event argument, that is this event argument. Now similarly, not only that, you can do a lot of things like that. So it's not like just only this. You can do a lot of work, lot of effects like that. We can configure in several ways. For example, suppose, see another option I will show you. Means not only that, so we have several other options also. For example, let's see one more point here. So let's remove this function, okay. Let's add some link relation is equal to style sheet, and href is equal to some node modules bootstrap dist css bootstrap css. And here I will add class container fluid, and here we have a div, and inside the div class is container again. Okay, and this is margin top some 3, and here I added so other divs again. In the div there is other div, and this div is having, so it is having an ID, is having ID green, and the class is so some BG success. BG success, I defined that BG success. So that is one div we are having. And another div, so ID, we have some blue or something like this. We have the class like, so BG info, or you can give directly blue class, a blue style color. Just roughly I'm giving here. So, and we have another div. So ID is red. So class is some BG danger. So we are configuring like this. Now this is actual the option. Inside that we don't have anything. Means no content is there. So suppose this is success, and this is so info, and this is danger. We have those 3 options there. And here I will just give as dflex, display flex, they keep side by side. And I said W some 50. So we are keeping that 50. All will have W50. That means the width adjusted. So this is also W50. That's width adjusted. And we have W50, all the width adjusted. Now, of course, we have this text white, text center, and text white. These are just basic options, text center and text white. And we have like text center and text white. Okay. And this will give that appearance. We have success, we have info, but these are divs actually. These are just divs. Now what happened here is here we have a heading. Suppose I have a heading. This is sample text and align to center. We have sample text. So that is sample text. Now here I said class as margin top. So margin top 4. And it will get some space. Now what I want here is, so for this div, on click of div also can be clicked. It's not like you have to click only a button, a div can be clicked. So here I am writing on click is equal to some choose color. Choose color function will fire up. Into that we will pass this. This will pass the current object related detail. Here some more options are there. Here now again very important is this is not having actually, this is not having that ID. Actually we need to pass this for every div we are having. That means on click. So this is, yeah, on click. Okay, on click we have to pass that. Choose color, all the 3 divs are having it. All the 3 divs are having that. Now what should happen here is we need to write a function. So function, and function is choose color, and it is expecting the object, and here we will write a switch, and we need to access, so that heading h1 is equal to document dot, I can use query selector h1. So we can access that because I haven't given any ID. You can give ID, but query selector is used to access by ID, by type, by name, anything. So if I haven't given ID, I will use query selector. So I will access the heading. Now we will pass a switch into that obj.id. And here we will write, so case. If ID is green, then what should happen? h1 dot style dot color is equal to, we need to apply green color. Or we can apply here, so we can apply class name is equal to, we can apply the class as text success. That class we can apply. For heading, we are applying the class text success. So then break, that means we are configuring it. That means usually if it is green, that means if I click on that green, it should get that and display. But here the point is, so we can configure the class name effects and define them. But we need to first verify, so it is able to handle that value or not, collecting or not. Observe carefully. So here I am using an alert. Alert is defined with a option here. So alert obj.id. Now actually when I click on that, so green is coming. When I click on this, blue is coming. When I click on this, red is coming. The values are coming. If the values are coming, then we can pass it into a switch. Into the switch, we are passing, so that value. So we are passing that here. So the value is obj.id. Okay. Now we write the case. If the case is green, what should happen? If the case is green, we need to access that heading. We need to access the heading and we need to apply some effect. Effect is nothing but we have to apply some color for that. For the green, we need to apply some color for that. So here, if it is case green, you can have several techniques like heading 1 dot style dot color is equal to green color. I am defining that, then break. That means when user clicks on that green color, so then it should get that green color and display. We can apply that color. We can configure that. So similarly, so we can define. So if the case, so we are defining the class, or we can directly use. Here there is an option that is class name. H1 class name is equal to text success. That is the class name we are applying. That means when I click on that, so that class is applied. But other classes also we need to apply. That means we have, because you are replacing that, then other classes will be gone. Then we have to add those classes to that existing one. So that is the reason if you don't want to affect, that means you have to write both empty, margin top 4 and text success. Otherwise one class will be lost. So it will apply that. Otherwise one class will be lost. So only that class will apply. So if we don't give like this, then what happens is when I click on that, then it will lose that margin here. Because so it is already having that margin class. It cannot add to that. It will replace. Then margin top 4 and text success you can apply. Similarly, we can define another case. And the case is, so if it is blue, then we put color as text info. And here I will define as same. And if it is like red, so we will define as text danger, and we can apply that. And on click on those, it will get the color and it will display. Now on that particular div, so we can just keep a div here. So that means in the style. So I'm adding here div. So on hover, when hover, then cursor. So we can put a grab cursor on hover. That means on mouse over, you can see there will be a hand symbol so that it looks like it is clickable. On hover, it will display. And I click on that, so that color will come and display. That means we are using only one function for handling different functionalities. This is basically done. So this is basically done with the help of these options. Now we have these all functionalities happening through one function only. So we need to send this particular object related property. Similarly, when event related properties are also used, we will see. For that we have to use event argument. Then we can handle event related options. How to work with event related. Now in JavaScript events, we have to understand various JavaScript events like mouse events, like keyboard events, like touch events. Touch events are new actually, but they will work only on mobile like or touch screen like devices. Just I will give you an overview. And all other generic miscellaneous events. We have to understand how to use these events in various examples that we will see in our next session. Tomorrow we will see that. So tomorrow we will finish all these events with examples. Then we can build some exercises with the combination of all these. We can build some exercises. I will give you some tasks now. So for handling all these with the JavaScript, okay? Right. Tomorrow we will continue with that.